Hello everybody, this is Dr. Kevin Connors, and this is going to be a video about why we believe and why we love doing these conference Zoom calls. Matter of fact, I'm doing this video on a conference Zoom call. So it's the same platform that we use for keeping in touch with our patients. And that's the whole key to this. We believe that we should really keep in touch with our patients. I had somebody the other day tell me, hey, I think it's really great that you keep in touch with your past patients by doing these weekly Zoom calls. This is just phenomenal. I've never seen this in the industry, in any medical field whatsoever. It's really great. And I was taken back by their comment because they said, keep in touch with past patients. And I said, quite honestly, I never thought of it that way. We don't keep in touch with past patients. If you become a patient of ours, you are a current patient. We don't have any past patients. So current patients have that access to us, constantly. And how we stay in communication with them is a few different platforms. This video is going to be on our conference calls. I'm going to make another video on our Facebook group platform where you have basically 24/7 access to us. This is weekly access to both Dr. Halderman and I, and we set this up because we are constantly learning. We're constantly striving for new data. We're constantly finding new genetic pieces to cancer. We're constantly finding new possible remedies. And how do we keep in contact with people? Because I don't want somebody who came to me 6 months ago not know about this new thing that we just discovered in a new research paper that just got published last week. And so that's why we set these up, so that we can give you the latest, greatest information constantly on a weekly basis so that you're not missing out. So if there's something that's going to be really good for your colon cancer that a study just got published last week, that you're going to hear about it. And we're going to be able to bring that information to you without having to try to find everybody who has colon cancer in our database and call them. You have constant access to us. So that's the whole thing. Because the biggest struggle that I think people have when they go to the doctor is that they go to the doctor, the traditional scenario is you go to the doctor, you get your care, you leave. And if you want to talk to the doctor again or talk to a staff member or a team member, it becomes difficult. You have to schedule an appointment. And appointments can be 2 to 3 months out, and you feel all alone. And there's no way that you can absorb all that information that you needed in a 20-minute visit or in a 2-day visit or going to Mexico. And people confuse, well, how come your program is only a 2-day program and I go to Mexico or something and it's a 3-week program? Well, I cover that in other videos, but I don't believe you could get healed from cancer in 3 weeks. It has got to be a lifetime thing. And the biggest thing that makes us different is that, number one, you go home with equipment. So you're not getting Rife therapy for 3 weeks and PMF and hyperbaric and IV vitamin C and such, and then think that now you're cured. I mean, this has got to be a lifelong thing. So you're going home with a Rife that you're using every night. But the other thing that makes us different is that you are in contact with us forever. So these Zoom calls that we're talking about here, these Zoom conference calls, we do these weekly, many times more than once a week, so that you can be in contact with us forever, so that you never feel alone. You never feel like you're an island. You never feel like, and I understand that hopefully you have a support team and a spouse and a family that are loving you and taking care of you, but many times you need that professional support, and that's what this is all about. And that's really what makes us different. So we never want anybody to feel like they're disconnected. And that is, to me, the greatest degree of of problems in healthcare. It used to be Marcus Welby would make house calls. Well, we still make house calls. And that's a big piece of our program too. If you need us to come to your house, we'll come to your house. And I think that's what we're trying to bring back is that personalized medicine that's not only personalized to what your needs are with genetic testing and specific kinesiology testing, so we're going to get specific and build a program and a protocol around you, but we're going to stay in contact with you. You become a part of our family, and all of our patients feel, I really do believe that they feel connected and loved and cared for. Um, you know, we go home and we literally pray for our patients constantly. So that is that communication and connection is the key. So that's why we decided, well, how can we do this? How can we make this happen? And that's where these weekly calls came into being quite some time ago. So we do these weekly calls. Exactly how it's set up. So we have people literally from all around the world that are on our calls on a weekly basis. And from our Facebook page, you are given a Zoom link. So we use the product Zoom, which is simply just a webinar type based um, program that exists, and it works real nice. And if they ever go away, we'll use something else. Prior to that, we use Skype. So the Zoom call platform gives us really a benefit, so we can have an endless amount of people on the conference call. I can mute everybody while I or Dr. Halderman do our little weekly information session to begin with, and we open it up for questions, and anybody can ask whatever questions they want. These typically last between 30 and 30 minutes and an hour and a half. They look similar to this. They look similar to exactly what you're watching right now, because this is the Zoom call platform that we're doing this on. And I'll have a topic, or Dr. Halderman will have a topic. This was my topic just a couple of weeks ago, cancer and emotional scars, where I went over about 20 minutes of some new data that I've been studying, or something that I just felt like God put on my heart that I needed to tell you. And same thing with Dr. Halderman. And then we give that little lecture, you could call it. Then it is then opened up for questions, and we answer questions that people have or emailed in during the week too. So you always feel connected. You always feel like your questions are answered. And then after it's all done, we record that call. So that conference call is recorded, and then it's put up on our Facebook page. So here was the one from last week. Here's Dr. Kelly's Truth About Fasting, which she did a little expose on fasting and the fasting mimicking diet, and time restricted eating. Here was mine from the week before about the emotions of cancer. So then you don't have to be on the call. So I understand your life is busy, and one of our foundational precepts in our care is we don't want you thinking about your cancer all the time. And if you're doing really well, it's like, I'm not going to go on the call, but it does give you the ability to access them. And then they're posted on the Facebook page, and then you can go on it and you can watch that video if you want to. If that's a subject matter that interests you, or you do have questions, you could jump on it live. Either way, we want you to feel connection and feel like you're not alone. And that's what our purpose in the conference calls are. So we really want everybody to use them. Most people do. We have anywhere from just maybe a dozen to several dozen people on each conference call. So it's not overwhelming. Most people can get their questions in. And we ask people, if you have questions that maybe you don't want to pipe in, we ask that you email questions in, and you just tag them on the tagline of the email, Zoom call question. And we always get to those too. So your questions will be answered, and you feel like you're moving in the right direction, and that you're always got your hand held. So hopefully this helps, and we'll have another video about the Facebook page and how to use that. Thanks very much.